spent a fair amount of time figuring out how to do this, to tell different stories. But as I was trying to tell and narrate a different story about where I came from, where my community and my family and my nation came from, because they're all kind of wrapped up together, I it wasn't simply like a narrative. It wasn't simply a question of constructing a new narrative. It was a question of experiencing my body and the somatic body of my ecology and all of these institutions, bodies of the institutions around me differently. And that's when I started finding really useful was wording and framing around remembering. That it's a somatic to remember, to bring the ecological human body back together again, to bring the social, cultural, social, different parts of the social body back together again. That it was this larger process of remembering, it was just the process of re-narration, and the process was so somatic. And I needed the ritual, and I needed to deepen and shift my own spiritual understanding as part of it. And whilst I was in the midst of that, I was having a series of sort of miraculous things occur. And it was very powerful. And I started giving very small workshops and just small talks, or just randomly giving people in conversation tidbits of the history that I was learning. And people were just blown away, because there was all these pieces that they hadn't known about or hadn't put together. They knew pieces, but not the whole thing. Not that anyone knows the whole thing. It's way too big for any one person to hold by themselves. And so that led me to start teaching. And what I found is that when people start putting the history together, and they start putting the different pieces of the history together in the way that this course is designed, is that they go through an internal and external, like both somatic and narrative shift, and things start connecting. And they start getting, a lot of the times people have the intuition, they kind of, it's on the tip of their tongue kind of thing, but they start being able to articulate and say, oh, that's how it happened. And this is how I fit into it. And instead of being only despairing or grief, which there is grief and there is despair, it also helps to create a sense of here-ness and belonging and groundedness, which quite honestly, I didn't expect that. I was a little surprised. I was like, huh. And it makes sense.